What's going on, guys? So today is going to be a video in depth about where Bitcoin is actually going with a little bit more price targets than I usually do. You guys are really gonna like this video, so pay attention. I understand you have a busy day, but if you could just stay around for the first 4 minutes, which is usually what you guys do when I'm looking at the analytics of the videos. So I'm not gonna waste more of your time. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to John McAfee, straight legend. May he rest in peace. All right, guys. So now we're gonna jump straight in simple technicals of where Bitcoin is. So at the moment, until we get to these higher levels right here, we're not near being overbought. You can also see the internal indicator of Bitcoin is still in the orange zone and is going down a little bit, which is good. That's what you want to see. So you guys probably remember this chart that I have shown in some of my videos. In my humble opinion, we're about to enter the stage 4. This chart is old and has to be updated, but basically, if this is the first time you see me talk about this chart, we enter the phase 4, which is basically the FOMO stage of Bitcoin once we break the pink line, which is the pi cycle moving average. And at the moment, this is an updated version. Obviously, we had 6 months of going nowhere, of sideways consolidation, which actually was beneficial to Bitcoin because now the moving average has moved to $120,000 USD, guys. So that means that we need to break $120,000 USD per Bitcoin before we enter the FOMO stage. And I just wanted to talk about the stock to flow model, which also has a pretty crazy target. I think the target is between $400,000 and $500,000, if I'm not mistaken, from Plan B, which sounds completely insane, but I'm going to show you guys after why it might not, based on actual, real-time deviation of the price of Bitcoin, and why it's not as crazy as it sounds. And I just want to point out something about the stock to flow model. Historically speaking, he's always been off by about 30% on his calls for the past 2 cycles. But with everything that's going on with institutions, right? BlackRock, the ETFs, nations that are about to start competing to buy Bitcoin next year. If the stock to flow model is going to end up being correct, it's going to happen this cycle. So I would not be surprised that the stock to flow model ends up being extremely accurate in this cycle we're in right now for the first time. And also, I just want to quickly point out, right, the oscillator of the stock to flow model is at the floor, guys. Like, it's really low right now. So that means that there's even more energy for Bitcoin to really go high. And like I said, I think it's going to go way higher than even I expected. I have targets above 200,000. I don't want to jinx it because I actually do want it to happen. I think it would be insane. But in the same time, I kind of want Bitcoin to not go too high, so I can buy more eventually, right? So anyways, that's what Bitcoin is all about, I guess, You never have enough Bitcoin. All right, so now we're going to get into juicy stuff, guys. So I wanted to show, obviously, this very famous rainbow chart. And I just wanted to start by looking at the last cycle we had. And looking at the price through time, which not a lot of people seem to be doing. Obviously, the green line right here is the halving, right? When Bitcoin halves. Afterwards, it tends to be, at the end of this quadrant right here, right? And then we tend to, go sideways for ending of that quadrant. And then we enter another quadrant through time. And in that quadrant, right, we go sideways for about half of it. And then the other half, we start going up, historically speaking. And that's what we are doing as we speak right now. So we had the halving, right? We went nowhere to finish this entire quadrant, right? Then we started the quadrant we're still in right now, and then we went sideways for half of it, and now we're going up to then enter the last quadrant, right, of the bull phase. And I just wanted to show you guys that if we go back to the last one, sorry if it's confusing, but you'll understand what I'm trying to show you. It's important. And at the end of the quadrant we're in, we tend to touch this green line right here. So now if history was to repeat itself, right, that would mean that we would have to go here to this green line to finish this quadrant. And the quadrant finishes the 31 December. So we have 3 weeks, guys, to basically push to this level. So that would bring us to about $140,000, guys, per Bitcoin USD. So obviously we're gonna smash through the 120,000 that I talked about with the pi cycle, right? And then the FOMO stage is really gonna start kicking in, and then we should finish at 140,000 guys, USD per Bitcoin at the end of this month. That's insane. That's about a 40% gain. We have 3 weeks left for Bitcoin to go up 40%. Obviously, it could not happen. But if we actually look at the seasonality of Bitcoin, right, you will see that in December, we average 40% right here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's at the right corner of the screen right here. And if I showed you the chart right here of the basically the seasonality of Bitcoin, and we projected the 40% gain, it would bring us to about $140,000 USD per coin in the next 3 weeks. So that's what I wanted to show you guys. Obviously, it could not happen, but if it does happen, that would be insane. And then I just wanted to finish the video with where the broad market and crypto is going to go, in my humble opinion, based on data. So I already showed this, but I'm just going to show it again, right? In case you forgot. So we should be going up, right? Not in a straight line, but just finishing the month of December strong, entering January pretty strong, and then mostly, have a correction after into the second half of January. It shouldn't be a big correction, maybe 5 to 10% in the broad markets, right? So that is to be expected. There is a lot of people expecting that though, so that might not happen. That's how the market works, right? The market is not made for the majority to win. The market will basically try to make as much people look stupid for the longest period of time. So that's for the short term. Bigger picture, right? This is the first time I address this, but this is what I believe will happen. So I believe that 2025, guys, is going to be an uptrend. Okay, it's going to be that last year of the bull market. Okay, you're going to have the Trump effect, you're going to have the Bitcoin effect, you're also going to have one last big push of liquidity in the markets, right? So I believe that 2025 is going to be that last push where risk assets are going to go bananas, literally. But then I think that 2026, we're going to enter a bear market, guys. It's not going to be the end of the world. That's kind of the medium term that I'm seeing. And then 2027, 2028 are going to be like really good years to go up after the 2026 bear market, in my humble opinion. Yeah, also looking at the power law oscillator, right? Always keep an eye on this one and the MZRVZ score. I can't pronounce that name, but you get what I'm saying. Looking at the internals, just making sure that you do take profit in specific accounts, depending on your personal game plan when we're stretched to the upside. But right now, guys, we're at $100,000 and we're still basically at levels where you could technically still accumulate bigger picture on Bitcoin, which is crazy. This is why I believe Bitcoin will go way higher than most people think. If we do go up 40% in the month of December in these last 3 weeks, it would coincide basically with the seasonal patterns of Bitcoin as well in the cycle of multiple of all the prior cycles. So if all of this happens, guys, okay, obviously we're going to have an alt season. And so this is a chart from Aussie. And basically, if we do enter the alt season and the Bitcoin dominance continues falling, it should fall to about the second half of 2025. So it's going to be a great time to be in alts like Solana. So obviously right now, if we look at the positioning and sentiment, we are in the altcoin season, right? So we were in the Bitcoin season for a while. Obviously, things have been going pretty crazy. Not everything. It hasn't been a straight line. It's been very random as well. Different type of coins with not a lot of utility going up. I don't talk about those on this channel because honestly, it's a waste of time, guys. You're gonna make so much money just holding Bitcoin and Solana. It sometimes in life, your quality of sleep is also important. Don't be greedy. You're gonna make enough money with those. You don't need to be greedy. Right? And most of these people that are wasting their time with all these shit coins, at the end, they won't even be able to properly time the market and they're gonna give up most of their gains. So just don't be that guy, right? But at the moment, we're in the altcoin season. It should continue a little bit, but obviously the best time to buy is when no one is buying, when we're in a Bitcoin season, right? So right now, if you're buying for the first time, understand you're chasing. And in the last video, I talked about Solana topping, and it has topped and it hasn't gone up yet, guys. And I showed you that on the Google Trend search, the Phantom wallet was at all-time highs. So obviously that's always ends up coinciding with a correction. So that's definitely something you want to keep an eye on. But that being said, right, this altcoin season based on a seasonal cycle from Rect Capital should continue into December. And then afterwards in January, we should correct. And that is going to be a great time, guys, to put some money to work if the US Solana ETF also gets approved and is trading in the US stock market. So hopefully it all coincides, because I still have some cash that I would like to deploy in the Solana ETFs in the US. So hopefully Q1, we kind of get that some drawdowns a little bit in the same time of getting the Solana ETF approved and trading in the market. And also never forget what happens right after an ETF is launched. The price of Bitcoin and Ethereum went down between 15 and 20%. So probably the same thing is going to happen to Solana, which is going to be a great buying opportunity. And then you're going to be able to just buy the ETF instead of buying the Solana coins and losing 2% fees on crypto brokerage, all this crap, and then maybe losing your coin, and you know what I mean? It's just not worth it. So you're better off, if you want to add the Solana, to be patient and to wait for January, in my humble opinion. All right, guys, so that's it. Sorry if the video was a little bit too long. Hopefully it was great information. We'll see if we do go up 40% in 3 weeks. That would be pretty crazy. God bless you. Take care and have a good one.